Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. And today I want to talk about the couple of pickups that I had. I went to the Fort Lauderdale card show and I picked up just one card there. So I want to give you guys a good look. Of course, I picked up a Mini Minoso, 1956 Mini Minoso. And I just love this card. It's a great shot. There he is sliding into the base there. And it's a little bit off center, top to bottom, but overall it was just a beautiful looking card to go along with my other Minoso cards that I have. So this one cost me, I think it was like $40, but it's a really nice looking card. And I'm just gonna go ahead and share some of the other Minoso cards that I have. I've got, these are the ungraded. I have a lot of graded ones too, of course, the rookies and all that, but just give you a quick look at the Cuban Comet. 55, 57, 58. He's just a great player, just a legend in Cuba, and just deservedly is in the Hall of Fame. Took a while, but he finally got in. And that's the 59. Here's the 60. Good look at that. 60. Then I got a 61 autograph that I picked up last year at one of the shows last year. And I also have the 53 autograph. I'm just showing some of the ungraded. I have a bunch of graded ones from Minoso, but figured I'd just pull these out because these are all together in the same place now. So that's the 63. So that's kind of what I picked up, this one right here. So, but the main thing I wanted to show you today was, so I'll leave this one out here, was my pickup from the, from Heritage, from the auction. And I picked up another Cuban great. And it's a rare card of Camilo Pascual. And if you don't know Camilo Pascual, before I show the rare card that I picked up, I'm just going to show you a few cards about Camilo and tell you a little bit about him. And his nickname was the Little Potato. I don't know why they did that, but it was the Little Potato. He had an 18-year career. And I'll show some cards as I go ahead and read some information about him here. And he played from 1954, there's an autograph, 1960. And he played from 1954 to 1971, mostly with the Washington Senators, then the Twins, and a little bit with the Reds and Dodgers and Indians. His best pitches were the fastball, and he had a devastating overhand curveball. And here's 1956, Camilo Pascual. And his curveball was one of the most devastating pitches in the league at the time. And Ted Williams described, and he said, it says here, described by his curveball, described by Ted Williams as the most feared curveball in the American League for 18 years. Camilo Pascual's curveball has been rated the top 10 of all time. So this guy had an incredible curveball. He had a great fastball. He was a big-time strikeout pitcher, and he was elected into the All-Star team 5 times. And in the 1961 All-Star game, he pitched 3 hitless innings and struck out 4. He holds the opening day strikeout record, as he fanned 15 in the opening day 10-1 win versus the Boston Red Sox in the 1960 season opener. That's the 57. This is the 1959 with the beautiful red border, Camilo Pascual. And he came in as a 17-year-old from Havana. Of course, he was born in Havana, Cuba. And he played in 1951 in Cuba, and then he came here. And then he played it with the Class A Chickasaw Chiefs and the Oklahoma Sooner State League. Then he played with a couple other minor league teams until he was brought up from the Washington Senators. The scout, Joe Cambria, found him and his teammate, Julio Berquer. And they also went ahead and found another one of his Cuban teammates, which was Pedro Ramos. So Pedro Ramos and Camilo Pascual became two of the best pitchers. Really, they were great pitchers, not just for their team, but in the league. As Pascual was one of the top strikeout leaders and win leaders. And, here's somebody that was playing for a terrible team. I mean, a terrible team. But, he went on to have and here's the other one of the 60 unsigned. So Camilo went on to have 174 wins, a 40.9 WAR. He had a 3.63 lifetime ERA, and he had over 2,167 strikeouts. So, he was a big strikeout pitcher, and here he is here. He was a strikeout leader in 1961. He beat Whitey Ford and Jim Bunning, and he was a strikeout leader. But, he was just a great pitcher. He was a 7-time All-Star. And even though he's not in the Hall of Fame, he is in other Hall of Fames. He's in the Cuban Hall of Fame, and he's in the Minnesota Twins Hall of Fame and the Dominican Hall of Fame. And I just want to show the card that I bought at the Heritage Auction of Camilo Pascual, which is the rarest card that exists of Camilo. And it's the first time I had ever seen this card. And it's a Cuban card, a Cuban issue. And it's the 1956-57 Chicle Peloteros, Camilo Pascual. And there it is. It's a Cuban issue, extremely rare Cuban issues from the 1950s. And this is pretty much, there's a couple of minor stars in there, and Camilo's probably the biggest star in that set. It's a very, very tough set. This card looks like it's been slightly trimmed on the bottom there, but it is such a rare card that this is the only card, the only one, the only example graded by PSA. This is the only Camilo Pascual Chicle Peloteros graded by PSA. So I went for it. I had never seen this card before. I've seen the set, but I wasn't too familiar with the Camilo Pascual in that set. But I went ahead and was able to get it, probably overpaid for it, but it's a card that you're never going to see. And I want to talk a little bit about Camilo. Let me show you the back of the card first so you can see the back. So the back is in Spanish because it was in Cuba. And you could see it's number 29, and it says that he was born in Lujano on the 20th day of January 1934. And he started in Toledo with Barrio Obrero y el Ferroviario saltando al profesionalismo en el año 1951. So he played with a couple of Cuban teams and a Toledo team. And then he went to professional in 1951 with Bib Springs. He played in 1952 with the Havana Cubans. And then he played in Florida with a Class B team until 1953. In 1954, it says he was called up by the Senators of Washington of the American League, where he's been one of the premier pitchers, or one of the starting pitchers for the Senators. So that is the back of the card of Camilo, and I want to just give you a good look at it so you can take a good look at that card and just read an article that was published back in 2012. There was an article that was written, and the gentleman really was from Minnesota. He is from the newspaper Patrick Roos. So I'll give him the tribute, and it came from the Star Tribune. So I just kind of want to read you his article because I thought it was one of the greatest articles that just tells you a little bit about him. It says, Roos, Camilo and his curveball deserve a spot in the Twins Hall. Pascual gave instant credibility to the team after he moved to Minnesota in 1961. So here's the article. It is the summer of 61, the first year of Major League Baseball in Minnesota. We're in Murray's, then and now a famous steakhouse. The night game started at 8 p.m. sharp, so there's time to have early dinner in downtown Minneapolis to get to the Mets Stadium for the first pitch. That's what we're doing. My father and me and some of his friends were all around the restaurant. There's a hum of excitement of baseball talk. The Yankees were in town, a big deal for us prairie folks, and even bigger because this was the year of Maris and Mantle, 1961. The Yankees already were far clear of the Twins in the 10-team American League, but there was no gloom among the ticket holders on this night. Camilo Pascual would be the starter for the Twins, and even the mighty Yankees were not eager to take hacks against Camilo's curveball. And so this article is written when this gentleman was a young kid. It said, this had to be June 23rd, a Friday night. The only way I can be sure is to recall that it was early summer, for the result that the Twins fans received in late June was duplicated on August 29th, a Tuesday night, when the Yankees returned to Bloomington. Met Stadium was expanded on the fly that season, and a full house in June was announced at 30,940. Pascual had us howling from the top of the first. With one out and one on, he struck out Roger Maris swinging, and Mickey Mantle looking. The vision of Roger swinging through a curveball, and then the Mick with bat on his left shoulder, glancing back at the plate umpire and walking away from the plate. Okay, I'm dreaming. There's no way the memory bank is that strong, but I do remember that the seats were good enough to see Camilo's expression, to see the way he dug into the curveball, and watching it take a magical drop as it neared the plate. And continue to read a little bit more about Camilo as you take a look at his cards there. It said the curve made him famous, but Pascual also threw hard and mixed in an excellent changeup. He led the American League in strikeouts with 221 and tied the league in shutouts with 8 in that first season in Minnesota. Camilo added to those totals versus the Yankees on June 23rd, beating Bullet Bob Turley 4-0, giving up 6 hits, 1 walk, while recording 8 strikeouts. He got Maris once, and Mantle and Yogi Berra twice apiece on strikeouts. Camilo had the encore versus the Yankees on August 29th, beating Ralph Terry 3-0 on a 4-hitter, and 2 walks and 9 strikeouts. Mantle struck out 3 times to the delight of the 40,118 ticket holders that could fit into Met Stadium. Harmon Killebrew was our instant hero of that season in Minnesota. Pascual was a close second. Pascual led the American League in strikeouts in the first 3 seasons in Minnesota. He won 20 games in 62 and 21 in 63, with an American League leading 18 complete games in both. It says, he was 88 and 57 with a 3.31 ERA from 1961 to 66 in Minnesota. The Twins started a Hall of Fame in 2000. An excellent idea with Killebrew, Oliva, Rod Carew, Kirby Puckett, Herb Beck, Calvin Griffith, the man who brought the Twins in town, chosen as the first group. Camilo should have been among the first, Julio Bequar said Wednesday. Bequar was Pascual's roommate when they both came from Cuba to Geneva, New York in 1951 to play for the Senators. It was an all-Cuban team, all of us signed for Griffiths by Joe Cambria, Bequar said. Bequar made his home in Minnesota. And since Julio and Tony Oliva have shared a frustration over Pascual's absence from the Twins Hall. And the article goes on to say that it was the year 2012 and they were voting for it and they were hoping that Camilo would get in. Camilo did get into the Hall of Fame, Twins Hall of Fame. And thanks to articles like this and people that recalled him playing, and they know how great of a player he was. So just wanted to share my latest pickup. Probably the rarest Camilo Pascual card you're gonna see. The 1956-57 Chicle Peloteros, number 29 in the set. That's the Camilo Pascual. And here he's shown with the Cienfuegos uniform, which he played for in Cuba. And the Cienfuegos team was one of the best teams in Cuba. And he also played for the Havana Cubans and the Tampa Smokers in the Florida State League. And you know, he moved around until he was finally accepted into the major leagues. Started off slowly, but ended up with an incredible career overall. 40.9 WAR, 2,167 strikeouts, 174 wins. A great pitcher. And just wanted to recognize him. So thanks for watching, guys. Truly appreciate your support and comments. And please like and subscribe. This is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. And I'll catch you on the next one.